Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of TerraVentures. It's episode 35 and as I release this, it is Christmas Day, at least where I am. And I am actually recording this in the new version of Minecraft 1.14. So a large part of today will be exploring for new updates. However, since it is Christmas, we will be unboxing our Secret Santa present that we've got. And stupid raid. Okay, let's just deal with this. Yes, I know I got the bad omen, but I don't really care at the moment. So, let's get rid of this. And that is a very, very, very generous present indeed. Let's dump the crossbows somewhere. So, that's 4 wither skulls. That's 2 stacks of iron. That's a stack of redstone, 3 stacks of paper, which is a bit odd. And 3 stacks of gunpowder. That would be 9 stacks of rockets, which is really useful for me since I fly everywhere. 2 stacks of gold, 2 tokens of undying, and 8 IOUs. I think it's supposed to be like that, because that would be a nice thing. I suppose I might use, though, I'm going to have to ask what IOU means, but I might use that to help to work on the stadium over there. So that's a very generous present, and I'm pretty sure, having looked at it, that was waffly egg, so I guess I'm gonna have to thank him very much for that. So let us find a cow so we can milk it and get rid of the bad omen, and then we can get on with the rest of today's episode. Now, since the realm is about half a year old or that, there's quite a lot of areas which have been explored, so we're going to have to fly quite a distance, and I believe the distance that's least flown in is to the north. I think this technically would be south, I think. I get my directions all confused. Might be east or west, I really don't know. So we're going to have to fly quite a distance and try and find some of the new updates. Now, let's see if I can fly in this direction. So, now, the new update has bees, for the very least, and it should be really good, because from what I understand, bees can be used... No, this is too hard. Let's go into first person again. Bees can be used to pollinate crops and make it grow faster, so we're going to try and put a couple of those in our farming. It can also be used the flowers can be used to breed them, so we're going to have to see if we can do that. And of course, as part of our outback and terracotta thing, which we premiered last episode, we're going to try and set up a flower farm of all types of dye, or at least one to set up all types of dyes. So what we're going to do is keep going in this direction, and hopefully we can find some new area that has yet to be explored. Well, I finally made it to a flower biome, so what I need to do now is harvest these things, but I need to make sure that all the bees are in the place first. And I believe these 3 bees go to that place over there, so let's wait for them to take their pollen, like that thing on the back, and go back in. 1, 2, come on, get back in there. And you can see their little stinging things, which obviously if I attack it, it's going to die. I think it's in, so I believe I just need to do this, and this should have 3 bees in it. So I'll collect a few more of these, because I did see there's one over here, there's one over here somewhere. So if I collect a fair number of these, I should be able to get back home, start breeding, not falling into the lava, start breeding them, and I should soon have a horde of bees, or a swarm of bees I should say. Okie dokie, that's 9 different bee nests, all with some bees in it, I think. I have got quite a few bees in there, so yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've actually lost one of my sugar boxes, which is a little bit annoying. I'm not sure what it had in it, but I think it was just random stuff. I've still got all my tools in here, so it's not too big a loss, I guess. But a couple of resources in there, a couple of the stuff I found in a desert temple, which was basically horse armor and some gunpowder and whatnot, so not too big a loss. So let's fly back home, and this would be a lot easier if it was raining, but we can't change the weather, so let's continue onwards. Okay, I've managed to make it home. My elytra's almost gone, which is the first time in a long time. And hopefully all of these still have their bees in them, because that way, otherwise I've wasted my time for nothing. Then again, I only need 2 really to get this thing working again, because I can just breed the bees with flowers apparently. So that is a good start, and hopefully these bees can give me all the honey and as well as more baby bees to go. And yes, here they come. They're all starting to pop out. Very good. Okay, it's been a couple of days since the last clip, since I recorded, and as you can see, I've created some beehives and bred up a whole stack of bees. I've also had to put campfires underneath, because if I tried to harvest these, either bottles or move the beehive or whatever, the bees would get angry and attack you, and then they die. So I've had to put campfires underneath, and as you can see, I have quite a bit of my honeycombs being collected. It gives me 3 per harvest. There's someone here as well. Whoops. Let's just make sure we get all of these without attacking a bee. There we go. So I've managed to get myself quite a bit of honey and quite a bit of honey bottles and honeycombs. So that's quite good. So one of the ideas I did have was to automate these things, but it turns out it's a little bit harder than normal, and a little bit harder than say a crop farm, and I'm going to have to use resources that need renewing, say shears, like you saw there, or glass bottles. So it may be a little bit of time before I actually figure out how I'm going to do this. There are, of course, plenty of videos online, both for Java and for Bedrock, but I'm going to have to do a little bit more exploration as to what I need to do. So for the time being, probably just harvesting them with shears and with bottles will do for me. However, I've not been the only one to be fiddling around with the new update. There's also been someone who has created a little bit of what they call a bee sanctuary. And while I'm at it, I'll kill off these squids, since I still need ink. And I'm going to go off on a tangent again and say that the Outback crew, which is myself, Tice, and Panda, have been working on a ink farm, so that may make an appearance in a future video. But as I was saying, the nice Robbie, I believe, has created a very nice bee sanctuary up here for bees, and I believe there's a nice way of getting up, although I haven't quite figured out how to use this thing. I believe I move on backwards and press the button. No, that's not it. At any rate, that does get me most of the way out without using rockets. So there are bees here. There's this thing here to help people get out in there, and of course this thing here which is very nice, by the way. It's quite a lot of good textures and everything. I'm not really sure what else is supposed to be up here, but I guess it's just a bit of somewhere to explore and to stay up here and do things. So I might work a bit on up here, and here we go. That's plenty of bees. I wonder if there are many bees in here yet, but probably not from the looks. So what we might need to do is do a little bit of work up here, see what we can do to make this place better. So I'm not sure if we should build another house or just or flower gardens or something. So what I think I'll do is over here, I'll kill off these sheep since we don't need them. We shall get ourselves a very nice flower garden. So we might need to go back and forth to the base, get ourselves a few flowers, and create a nice garden path through here. So let's get started on that. So as I work on this, I'm thinking just a little bit of leaves on the outside just to prevent us from falling over. We might make this a too high thing, and we'll do try and do a couple of leaf underhangs like Robbie has over there. So and then what else do we want? We also want flowers in here, I reckon, and probably just maybe a nice circuit in here so people can walk through, admire the flowers, all the depths of flowers. We've got 4, 5 different types, 6 different types. I don't have any of the too high ones yet, but I'm gonna plant one of each of these here, and then when I need them, I'm gonna bone meal them each for that, so they can spread their flowers onto the ground and get some more. So that should work quite nicely, and hopefully Robbie is quite happy with what I'm going to do here. Okay, this bit is starting to come together now. I've got a pathway going all the way around. So what I'm thinking now is probably just a little bit of a decoration part. So we'll start by locking off this part, I reckon. And we'll do the same over here and over here. Just make this thing more or less symmetrical, which is, I suppose, kind of my thing here on this series. Just a little bit more symmetrical bits. So we'll need to get rid of that. Now what I'm thinking is putting a pond in the middle. So to do that, we're going to have to get quite a bit of concrete. No, not concrete. What am I thinking? We're going to have to get quite a bit of cobblestone and build a giant thing in the middle. And I'm thinking of using some honeycomb blocks, which I've got back at my base. So maybe a little bit something here. So overall, we're just trying to find some places to put each of these kinds of flowers. So dandelion here, the oxeye there, the poppy. What else do I have? I've got the cornflower, and we can put poppies here. Cornflower. I do kind of like the cornflower, so maybe I'll put two of those bits around, or maybe I just need one more kind of flower. So this is a bit tricky, but yes, I'm starting to like how this is going, but it needs more, I think, just a little bit more to keep it going. After a little bit of flower gathering and bone mealing them all, I've got quite a few flowers. I've decided to go with a slight pattern here, so all the white flowers are at the back, and then there's two sets of blue flowers, one here and one there, the cornflowers and the blue azuras, I think they're called. Then I've got poppies and dandelions just on here, so that I think it's pretty good. I've also corrected this thing a bit, so it's a little bit more square, or rounded square, and I'm thinking at the moment just a couple of lily pads randomly. It's a pity this water isn't a bit darker, but I can't really help with that. Now, what I'm trying to decide in here is how to build a little bit of a fountain. I'm trying to decide if just a tiny one in the middle and then smaller bits here in the middle, as well as putting in some bamboo or sugarcane, those things just to make this thing a little bit better. First off, let's find the center. And yes, the thing was a little bit dark there. So I think this one's the center block, although it might be a 4 square center. Let's see. Yeah, I think it is a 4 square center. So we'll go like so. Have a look. Yes, I think that's dead in the center. So what we should really do is make this a little bit bigger, and something like that, I reckon. No, I don't have any more of those. Let's go with the slabs and something like that. No, that's not even centered anymore. Let's get rid of all of these again. And there we go. And just have the 4 center. We'll have to figure out how we go in the middle, how we go to making this a little bit taller, but I reckon something like this, just the stairs in the middle, stairs, and then a bit of a water bucket, some water buckets like so, and water just draining around the outside should do quite nicely. I reckon this is just about finished. I probably could put in a central water tower, but I reckon that's just going to ruin the aspect. So I did put in 4 small ones, just bits of cobblestone here, so that should work quite nicely. I couldn't figure out how to get the sugarcane in, I could put in bamboo because that doesn't need water, but I would need to do something else there. So maybe instead I'll put in the central bit here and some if I was to do that, that would require sugarcane. I would put the sugarcane, but as soon as I do that, it should pop off. Maybe? No, actually, that is actually going to work quite nicely. And then what I do want to put is some string on the top to make sure it doesn't grow any further than the 2. So let's make sure that happens. There we go. And we're going to have a look at that. And that looks sort of okay. We're going to have to work on it a bit more, make sure it looks good. But I think that's a good start there. I've actually changed my mind a little bit. Instead of having the sugarcane in the middle, I think I want to make this thing go up quite a bit more. So what I'm thinking is using a tree in the middle. I'm going to use a custom tree, perhaps using some of the honeycomb blocks. Once again, I might have to go back to my base to get some, but using the honeycomb blocks to make a golden leaf tree. So I reckon that would look pretty good out here. It'll just give a little bit more yellow color out here instead of all the green, and it'll make this thing look quite good. The problem is with the big tree branch in the middle, or big trunk, we're going to have to make this thing rather tall, so we might, or rather short and stumpy, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to play it by ear a bit. So let's have a look and keep going back and forth as we see. That actually might be about the right height. So let's keep having a look and see what we can come up with. Okay, after a little bit of building, I've come up with that. I think it looks reasonable. It's definitely not perfect. Definitely not in the likes of better YouTubers than me, but I would think that's pretty reasonable. Now, what I'm thinking, since I've got those gold sort of leaves up there, I could probably change some of these bits into other bits, and I just want to give this thing a little bit more depth and a little bit more color. So let's put these gold leaves in, and have a look and see what they look like. And again, the terracotta, not the terracotta, what's this thing? I've forgotten the name for it, but that slab is just a little bit off, I reckon, just a little bit out of place, especially since I'm doing the double high slab here, which is just a little bit off. But once again, it's just trying to put a little bit more color, a little bit more feel into this build, just a little bit more decoration. It's probably not one of my strengths, decoration, but I reckon I can make this look better. Another thing I'm thinking of, just to give this thing a little bit more height, because if we come back to the front, and of course it starts to rain, but anyway, as we come to the front, it's just a little bit flat. Aside from this bit here in this middle fountain tree area, it's very, very flat, which is why I actually put these things here. So what I'm thinking as well is probably just a small bush thing here. It does mean getting rid of these flowers, but if we just do something like that, I know it's once again made out of gold. Yeah, that actually looks a little bit out of place now that I put the gold leaves there. The honeycomb, actually, I should say, the honeycomb blocks as separators. So what I should probably do, firstly put these 4 back. What I should probably do is replace these back with leaves or with the proper slabs as I had earlier, and see what I can do with a little bushes everywhere. And as the sun sets, both on this episode and on this Minecraft day, you can see I've added a few more bushes on these sides just to give it a little bit more height. It's still not entirely satisfied with this thing, but I think it's going to have to do. I'm going to have to probably ask a few people for ideas. So if you do have any ideas on how to improve this thing, whether by lights or by colors or just something, anything, you can put it down in the comments and I'll have a look and probably add to this place in either a future video or off camera. But unfortunately, that's all I've got time for today. And can I walk in third person, first person? Not really. Anyway, so I hope you've liked this episode. If you have, remember to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to keep watching out for the next one. Goodbye.